Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gateway Foundation's first ever virtual gala. My name's Rob Johnson, former Chicago TV news anchor, now president of my own communications consulting firm, Rob Johnson Communications, and I've been a supporter and a believer in the Gateway Foundation for years, and I know many of you are as well. We are so excited that you've decided to spend your evening with us. It is going to be a night to remember. And whether you're enjoying dinner or a Chicago-themed snack pack, we hope you will enjoy this evening's program that includes honoring 2 legislative champions and an industry leader. We have several surprises for you tonight. You're not going to want to miss a moment. The event's going to run about an hour. We're going to keep the silent auction open about a half hour after that. Now, before we begin our program, I want to thank our generous sponsors for tonight's festivities. These sponsors, who are recognized below, are our partners in this work, and without them, we could not achieve everything we have in the last year. Never before have we needed what Gateway Foundation has to offer as much as we do today. For those of you who know me, you know that I'm passionate about causes that support people with disabilities, including those suffering from substance use disorder and mental illness. Tonight is about supporting the mission of Gateway through your generosity, and we know you will be. Throughout the night, you will have an opportunity to make a donation to our Impact Paddle Raise, bid on silent auction items, or make a general donation at any point in the program. You can make a donation by simply clicking on the Donate button. All donations are 100% secure and direct to Gateway Foundation. The silent auction will close at 8:30 p.m., as I mentioned. And remember, you can bid at any point tonight by clicking on any of the items that you see below. We have some great packages and hope you bid early and often in true Chicago fashion. Now, let us begin our program with some welcoming remarks from Gateway Foundation's board chair, Mr. Andy Smith, who has dedicated a significant portion of his time to support the success of Gateway. Andy?
Thank you, Rob, for that warm welcome. I am honored to be with you this evening to welcome you and introduce a dynamic and vibrant leader. I have served on the board of directors of Gateway Foundation for over 2 decades, and in that time have witnessed many changes that have made it the strong national organization it is today. Last year, however, as I took on the role of board chair, we were embarking on what I can honestly say was the most challenging year in our 53-year-old history. I am in awe at how the entire Gateway Foundation team responded from that first day in March 2020 to ensure that we kept our doors open, providing life-saving treatment to thousands of people in both of our divisions. While the board understands that this was a team effort, we are also acutely aware that in times of challenge, leadership is more crucial than any other time. We could not have asked for a better prepared leader than our current CEO, Dr. Tom Britton. Tonight, you will enjoy an engaging program, a delicious dinner from the comfort of your own homes, and be inspired by the stories of our healthcare heroes. It is my privilege to introduce you to Gateway Foundation's President and CEO, Dr. Tom Britton.
Well, Andy, thank you so much, for that kind introduction. It means a real lot to me. Good evening and welcome. Bienvenidos. I'm so excited to welcome you to our 3rd annual celebration. Tonight is our opportunity to illuminate recovery, to shine a light on the stories of hope, to celebrate heroes, and to rejoice in what's to come. Tonight, I want you to leave with hope. I want you to leave with the faith and belief that all persons not only deserve to, but can recover from addiction. Tonight, I want you to leave with purpose. So I want to start with gratitude. And first to my partner, Dr. Teresa Garate, who made all of tonight possible. Without her efforts, we wouldn't be sitting here today. To Dana and Thelma from our marketing team who supported Teresa in the efforts that she did. To Rob, our incredible MC, for your energy, your enthusiasm. Thank you for doing what you did. And to Bob Ness, our videographer, who's doing all the video that you've seen tonight. Very special thanks to him. And finally, to our legislative and industry heroes who you're going to meet shortly. I also want to thank those who made this year possible, those who helped us to get from last year to where we are right now. And first, I'm going to talk about them tonight, but the Gateway Foundation staff are such miracle workers, and you're going to hear about them, but I want to hear, from my heart, thank you so much to them. To my executive management team, who are my partners, who stood with me shoulder to shoulder through nights, through weekends, to really help us not only continue, but to provide excellence in everything that we did. And finally, I want to thank my family for the support that they gave me, in carrying me through this time as well. This has been a year for all of us. It is times of darkness that make us grateful for the light. It's times of hardship that provide the true test of our character, and specifically our ability to thrive through adversity. It is the times of greatest challenge that provide us with the opportunity to evolve and become more than we've ever been. Without question, this has been the most difficult time of our collective lives. The COVID pandemic thrust the entire world, all people, into a period of collective trauma. We've painfully seen the negative impact of this on unprecedented levels of overdose, of suicide, of financial hardship, of food insecurity, and a worsening of the mental health of our nation. One could choose to sit with that pain and become disheartened, to lose hope, to lose momentum. Gateway Foundation, however, has not been a victim, simply suffering through. Gateway didn't sit back and wait for guidance. We didn't compromise our values or our standard of excellence for those that we support. Instead, Gateway stepped up as the leader that we are and led the charge for innovation, for accountability, and for compassion. Within the first weeks of the pandemic, we shifted over 1,000 clients from face-to-face care to virtual care. We maintained and strengthened our residential care to the thousands of people we support every single day. We swiftly implemented protocols that kept our clients and our staff safe. While other programs closed or refused COVID-positive patients, Gateway Foundation repurposed units specifically to treat them. From the beginning of the pandemic to now, Gateway has served almost 40,000 individuals suffering from substance use, many of whom were COVID positive. We are now serving almost 8,000 people every single day. These people, their mothers, their brothers, their fathers, their friends, their children, they are us. So stepping backwards, I have to ask, how did we do this? How was Gateway a beacon of light for those in need of care? How do we become an example of excellence in the industry, called on to educate and support other providers in strengthening their response? The answer is simple, and it rests in the heart and soul of our organization, the 1,400 staff and associates that make up the Gateway family. Our staff are heroes in the true sense of the word. They each made deep personal sacrifice, exposing themselves to risk so that others may not die from overdose and addiction. Every day we showed up. We showed up. Our mission for 53 years now has been to reduce the impact of mental illness and substance use on those who suffer by using evidence-based, outcome-oriented care. I'm so proud to be a part of a team that not only maintained that mission, but amplified it. I'm so proud to be a part of a team that used this crisis as an opportunity to innovate and to grow. Tonight, I ask you to join me in celebrating these heroes, but not just with your words and your thoughts, but with your actions. If we don't support their development, our mission fails. Soon you'll be asked to give, and I ask that you give as your heart demands. I ask you to give so that we can give back to our heroes. Without them, people literally die. We have just launched a multi-year strategy to increase our investment into staff and their development. We've increased salaries and compensations despite financial insecurity. We're funding a staff recognition program. And most exciting for me, we've launched a staff development initiative that provides every staff, regardless of position, with training monies to develop themselves. I'm not settling for just a succession plan for leaders. We are creating a development culture where all people can succeed, all people can develop and be more than they are today. I want for Gateway Foundation to be the organization that treats its staff with as much compassion and love as we do those that we serve. Please join me in making that a reality. But there's a critical area that we must address for this to succeed. Employers can no longer ignore the impact of institutional racism and prejudice. people of color, women, members of the LGBTQ community, individuals with disabilities, as well as any individual who is different, doesn't receive equity and inclusion in the same way that I do simply because I was born a white heterosexual man in Connecticut. We need to openly discuss, address, and create solutions that bring true equity and inclusion to all. Now is the time. And as a white educated man from a middle-class family with successful and educated parents, I've benefited from extreme privilege. I hold no illusion that I would most likely not be standing here as the CEO if I didn't look like I do. As a young boy, my mother taught me about privilege well before it was a topic of discussion. But more importantly, she told me that it was my responsibility to use that privilege to create opportunity for those who don't have that same privilege. I have acted on that challenge throughout my career. I'm proud to say that an analysis of compensation at Gateway showed that we don't have any differences based on race or gender. But I'm also aware that pay equity is not evidence of equity or inclusion. 2/3 of our workforce are women, but only 1/3 of my executive management team. Half of my executive team are members of a minority group, but none are African American. Leadership at Gateway doesn't reflect the composition of our company. It's not acceptable to have this reality. It is not acceptable to have an organization where one employee has a different experience because of their race, their gender, their sexuality, or any characteristic that makes them unique. In response, we have launched a diversity, equity, and inclusion campaign that will make Gateway Foundation an organization of opportunity for all. That will make Gateway an environment where people feel safe and free to celebrate their differences. My mom would be proud of us right now. I challenge you to look at what you do to bring equity and inclusion to your life, to look at how you use your privilege. I challenge you to do more. Our treatment of staff and the development of our culture translate directly into the quality of care that we offer to those that we serve. The quality of care we deliver is what ultimately translates into the level of success, the level of freedom from active addiction that people enjoy. A review of our history shows that we have consistently strengthened our clinical product without exception, without compromise. The future of Gateway is bright, and the services under development will expand access to care to those who need it the most. Gateway is about to release a virtual suite of services that literally doesn't exist in the field of addiction treatment today. We will expand our footprint to serve an additional 1,000 patients by June of next year. We'll enter into alternative payment contracts that allow us to provide longer, richer, better care to those that we serve. We will again be the example that others will follow. Thank you so much for being my partner, for being our partner in helping us to do what we do. Thank you for helping us to bring the hope and the light. Thank you. Well, I'm very excited now. We're going to pivot to our legislative champions. The oath of office for senators and representatives in Illinois is quite simple. It's to support the Constitution of the USA and Illinois, as well as to faithfully discharge their duty of office. But the reality of the roles is much more complex and demanding than the words would suggest. Ultimately, their duty is to research and understand complex issues to create and pass laws and regulations that improve and meet the needs of their constituents. The two individuals we recognize today have not simply met their duties as described above, but acted literally as champions of justice, saving and transforming the lives of those they serve. We're so grateful for their courage and leadership. Gateway's Illuminating Recovery Legislative Champion Award is given to legislators whose work and advocacy has directly benefited the lives of those we serve, as well as strengthen our ability to manifest the Gateway mission. Integrity is one of the core values of the Gateway Foundation. I teach my children that integrity is simply the act of doing the right thing for the right reason, whether someone is watching or not. One of the first legislators I met when I moved to Illinois 6 years ago was Senator Julie Morrison. I quickly learned that Senator Morrison not only exemplified the principle of integrity, but did so fearlessly and with extreme compassion. Senator Morrison has dedicated her life to advocate for and fight for causes that impact the most vulnerable residents of our state, people with disabilities, people suffering from substance use disorders, and those who are underinsured or uninsured. Her unwavering fortitude has allowed her to pass meaningful legislation that improved the lives of those who couldn't do it on their own. As my father would say, the senator is one tough cookie. Specifically, the senator has supported me and the Gateway Foundation in accessing the funding necessary to continue and increase our mission of saving and transforming the lives of those who suffer from substance use. We literally couldn't have done it without you. Senator Morrison, on behalf of everyone at Gateway Foundation and the rest of Illinois, we thank you for your service and for your friendship.
I want to thank everybody at Gateway today for this very, very nice honor. It means a lot to me. Being associated with Gateway, a place that looks out for those people who are most vulnerable, who are going through some of the most difficult times in their life, to help rebuild people when they are in the throes of addiction. I am so delighted to work alongside Gateway on the same interests that we share. Thank you again so very much for this award, and look forward to a continued successful working relationship with you as we help people in our community overcome addiction and some of the terrible deficits that follow it. Thank you.
It is my extreme honor to recognize Representative LaShawn Ford, representing the 8th District of Illinois, as Gateway's legislative champion. Representative Ford is a living example of the American promise. He grew up in Cabrini Green, a housing project on the west side of Chicago, born to a single mother and raised in poverty. He's one of many examples of individuals that thrived and succeeded without any privilege. And at the point of his success, he turned to the community that raised him, and he entered public service to increase safety, create opportunities, face racial injustice head-on, and create lasting change that will improve the quality of life for those he serves for years to come. Specifically, he has authored, passed, and supported legislation that address gun violence, health inequities, substance use, and most recently, criminal justice reform. Near and dear to our hearts has been the representative's participation and creation of the West Side Heroin Task Force. The Gateway Foundation has been providing substance use disorder treatment on the west side of Chicago since 1976, and we're so blessed to have you as our partner in addressing the social determinants of health that perpetuate drug use and overdose. Representative Ford, please accept this award as a small recognition of your efforts and our gratitude to you for your selflessness and passion to improving the lives of those who suffer from substance use.
Thank you, Tom, for those kind words and the honor. I really enjoy working with Gateway. I really appreciate the work that Gateway is doing on the west side of Chicago and in the state of Illinois. And I want to congratulate you on 53 years of service, helping those in need, struggling with substance use disorder. And I hope the audience understands and are ready to work and join in collaboration with you and all of the people that's working to provide care for those with substance use disorder. And I look forward to working with you in the years to come. And I hope that the audience tonight enjoy themselves and are ready to join efforts to end the disparities and inequities that we see on the west side of Chicago and throughout the state for those struggling with substance use disorder. Thank you so very much for this honor. I look forward to future collaborations and working to help the people in Illinois.
Thank you so much to Senator Morrison and Representative Ford for your leadership. We look forward to your continued success in the Illinois General Assembly. Now to present the third award of the night, I want to welcome my longtime friend and colleague, Dr. Teresa Garate, Senior Vice President of Gateway Foundation. Terry has dedicated her life to making a difference and advancing causes that create access and opportunity for people in need. Terry?
Thank you, Rob, and thank you for being our star MC tonight. Before I present the next award to the Peter J. O'Brien family, we have a special message from someone I have the privilege of calling a friend.
Good evening. Such an honor to be with Gateway tonight as you honor Peter O'Brien and the whole O'Brien family. To Peter and Mimi, congratulations. No one is more deserving of recognition and appreciation than you, Renee, Megan, and Caitlin. You as a family have meant so much to the mental health and addiction movement. You have taken your own loss and PJ's memory and turned it into a blessing for all these other families that today are able to get care because you stepped forward, because you made that call to me and said, let's start the Kennedy Forum Illinois. Let's really ensure that President Kennedy's vision of a community mental health system as embodied by Gateway really takes root here in Illinois. Let's pass the Illinois parity law. Let's write the specialty coordinated care mandate into law. Let's ensure that insurance discrimination against those with mental illness and addiction does not exist for your neighbors in Illinois. And because of all of the progress in Illinois, you have made an impact throughout the country, because those laws that the Kennedy Forum implemented in Illinois have really become models around the country. And they're the envy of everybody is how an organization could have so many powerful people and be so influential while only being in existence just a few years. And I don't tell anybody the real reason behind that. It isn't the Kennedy name. It's the O'Brien Rolodex that goes behind it that really made this a success. If people didn't love you so much and have so much respect for your family, there's no way this cause of mental health would have gotten the attraction otherwise over the last several years that it has gotten. And so thank you for giving so much of yourself. And as they say, service to others is the rent we pay for our room in heaven. And my friends, you have all paid in advance for your room in heaven. God bless you all, and congratulations again.
So 10 years ago, I was introduced to Mr. O'Brien and his entire family. Little did I know that my life would change forever, that I would be blessed by the friendship, love, and support of this amazing family. Tonight it is my pleasure to give our Industry Leader Award to the entire Peter J. O'Brien family. Peter has led the way at ending stigma in Illinois and across the nation, in partnership with former Congressman Patrick Kennedy by the formation and the work of the Kennedy Forum Illinois, that I have the privilege to serve on. However, he hasn't done it alone. He has had the support of his loving and amazingly strong family, his beautiful wife, Mimi, his 3 daughters, Megan, Caitlin, and Renee, who also touched the life of my daughter. This family transformed their loss and grief from the passing of their beloved son and brother, PJ, to sustaining impact in Illinois and beyond. This evening, we are honored to have Peter and his daughter, Megan, with us to accept the award on behalf of the family. Gateway Foundation strives to end stigma that is associated with addiction and works to ensure that mental health and substance use treatment equity is a reality for all. The dedicated work and example of the O'Brien family has significantly moved us closer to a world without discrimination against persons with brain disease, and it has made me a better person and a leader. And with that, I'm going to invite Megan to say a few words to accept the award on behalf of the family.
Thank you so much, Terry. I'm humbled and grateful to accept this award on behalf of my family. For the past nearly 60 years, we have been serving individuals in their recovery from mental health and substance use disorders, started by my grandparents, and then followed with my father and now myself as a licensed clinical social worker and alcohol and drug counselor. We are grateful for our partnerships and support of Gateway Foundation in the continuum of care for individuals with mental health and substance use disorders. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
This evening, we want to engage in an important dialogue between a national treatment provider, Gateway Foundation, and a national movement, the Kennedy Forum, and how the two must work collaboratively to ensure that people who need life-saving treatment are able to access it regardless of income, race, status, and of course, stigma. So tonight, I want to thank all of you for being with us, and I'm going to ask the three of you to start off by answering a simple question. Tell us why you are passionate about mental health and addiction and what this work means to you. Who wants to start? Megan, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So for me personally, my career in mental health started about 10 years ago, but it started much sooner than that. It was really my brother's struggle with schizophrenia and substance use disorders that sort of gravitated me to the industry. Through my help and support of him and walking alongside my parents and family as we struggled, where we saw my brother maybe not ready to accept the support that was there and kind of struggle as a family to have our own resilience and navigate a system. And then I began my own career, and through my work and passion, I've been able to work with individuals and build recovery plans and support for them and see their advancements in life as they've overcome and been able to manage their illness and their addictions.
Thank you for sharing, Megan. Mr. O'Brien?
Yes, and as soon as Megan got her LCSW and then her CADC, I snatched her up before Tom Britton of Gateway could get her.
Right.
And so I'll tell you that I'm very proud of my family, but you ask about the passion. The passion is because of the need to eradicate stigma. With stigma, it prevents people from getting the care that's out there. There's those of us that in the field, modeled by Gateway, by you, Tom, and your predecessor, and you, Terry. Terry is the Chicago way to say it, because I'm sure that I'll do something different if I try to say it in the native tongue. But there's no room for stigma when you're trying to deal with a brain disorder. You can't be stopped by the care that you need and the care that's out there with so many wonderful caregivers and so many wonderful programs right here in the Chicago market, and all around the country with your great leadership in Gateway. The other thing that I think I noticed was the insurance companies weren't treating mental health and substance use disorder, the treatments for those, the recovery necessary, the resilience that goes along with that, the way that they were treating other health issues. And this is a health issue. So it's trying to make a difference for those that can't make a difference for themselves at that moment, because in time, we can live with these disorders. And so it's my hope that while we weren't able to make that happen for Peter, Peter Joseph, and we called him PJ, there's others out there that we can eradicate the stigma for and get the parity in insurance coverage so that people are covered, so that they get the care that they deserve, and that you guys are wonderfully given.
Thank you, Peter. Tom?
I want to first kind of say thank you to Peter, you and your family for, you're changing the world. And I think for me, being a person in long-term recovery, that somebody reached out their hand to me and said, there's a difference, there's an option. And I'm sitting here instead of where I could be sitting. And what we know is that 125,000 people died last year of an overdose. That doesn't include the suicides, the desperation, the medical comorbidities, that there's so many families behind those deaths. And my hope and Gateway Foundation's mission is to prevent as many families from suffering and as many individuals as suffering from the impact of substance use that we can.
Thank you. Well, I hope all of you at home can see that everybody here is very passionate about this and very committed to it. So now, Megan, can you share a little bit about why you think, and we've all talked about stigma, obviously, but why you think that is the key? Why do you think that is so critical to create more access?
Yeah, of course. So when I hear stigma, my social work brain normally goes to what's the opposite of stigma? What are we trying to accomplish? And I really think the opposite of stigma is access to care, education, and acceptance. And I see those as both at a system level, the macro level, as well as the individual. Now might not be the time for someone, but if you walk the path with them, the services are available, they're accessible, and really kind of getting at those personal barriers to accessing the care that's there. Whether that's that fear of what would happen if you admit something, that fear of not feeling maybe like yourself and not even being aware of what you're going through, just having those supports and being able to access care, I think is sort of what we're looking for and accomplishing, a world where there's no stigma.
Thank you. And that's the perfect segue to the question that I was going to ask Dr. Britton, which is, can you please talk a little bit about access to care from the perspective of our organization of Gateway Foundation, and what are some of the things that we see are barriers to achieving parity?
Sure. I mean, I think that it touches on the larger social justice issue, frankly, of access to care, is there's two totally different systems and two totally different barriers to care. That Gateway Foundation is committed, really their mission, to helping people who are uninsured and underinsured, as well as fully insured. And as we look at the pathways for people to access care, if I had Medicaid or no insurance, I have a significant wait to get into care. If I'm an individual with private insurance, I can get right into care. And so part of our hope as an organization, part of the work of the Kennedy Forum, is really how do we create a larger access of care for all people rather than some people. And my bigger vision and really dream for the payer industry is that we move to a medical model that treats episodes of care rather than really kind of, we'll pay you today, we won't pay you tomorrow. And when that happens, people's outcomes go down and people die from a lack of treatment.
That's a very good point. And so we are a provider, but we need partners to also help us with policy and making changes. So my next question is for you, Mr. O'Brien. What is the role of the National Kennedy Forum and the work that we've done here in Illinois as a policy think tank to make sure that organizations like Gateway are successful in being direct service providers?
Yeah. So first of all, let me respond to and thank you for the surprise introduction of my good friend Patrick Kennedy, former congressman from Rhode Island, my mom's home state. And I've got to tell you that I enjoy the good trouble that Patrick and I have gotten into to make a difference. And the Kennedy Forum National, with the aid of Kennedy Forum Illinois, with some of our great board members, and one sitting right over here. Terry, thank you for being a co-founding board member. Is it really 10 years? It's probably close to that at any rate, and time goes by so quick. The Kennedy Forum National works on policy to make a difference with parity. So it was in, of course, 1963 when President John F. Kennedy passed the first mental health bill. It was 50 years to that day when Patrick decided to launch the Kennedy Forum National in Boston. And the Kennedy Forum is dedicated again to eliminating stigma and promoting parity within healthcare. And the parity bill was passed some 8 years ago. We've been able to pass a even stronger and stricter parity bill here in Illinois with the guidance of the Kennedy Forum Board Illinois, and Terry, your great guidance on that is very much appreciated. Recently in the last year, another one of our board members, State Senator Sarah Feigenholz, led the way on that. So I think what we've been able to do in Illinois is what we've been able to get from the Kennedy Forum National, and that's leading the way on policy and think tank in order to make a difference in this brain disorder.
Thank you. And as we close, I'd like to invite either Peter or Megan for you to kind of share, what is your message for other families that have experienced a loss like yours, and what can they do to help achieve change and make treatment a reality for all?
Run towards the illness. Don't be ashamed of it. Show your loved one that they're loved and respected, and you're there for them, as if you would be there for them with more conventional illnesses that we're all aware of, whether it be heart disease, diabetes, kidney disorders, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar, chronic depression. Those are all illnesses of the brain that can be addressed, but they first have to be addressed by going towards your family member and embracing them with respect and love in order to guide them through this rocky path. But it is doable, and it's my hope that with the Kennedy Forum in partnership with Gateway and your great leadership, Tom, Dr. Tom, and we keep you off the running path for a while, we're going to make a big difference here and around the nation. Thank you very much for your support of Gateway and allowing us to be part of this wonderful group of people to make a difference.
If I can add one thing, Teresa, I think the other part of stigma, and especially for families, is there's a shame component. Like I did something wrong, that my child or my family member has a problem because of me, or I should be able to fix it. And we can't always fix it. That it truly is a medical condition. I can't will myself out of diabetes or out of kidney disease or any of those kind of things. I can make lifestyle changes. And I think the most important tool that families have available to them is really kind of a split. One is love, is the only thing that makes a difference, is we have to love each other and love our families. And the other is really kind of self-forgiveness and self-acceptance, which is that I'm not magic and I can't force change, but that we as an organization have treated more than 1 million people since we opened our doors. 1 million people. And so many of those have found recovery and stayed in recovery. And so the last thing I would want to share is that you can make a difference. People like Peter and his family and the difference they've made in others' lives is just amazing. So I want to thank both of you again.
Megan, did you want to say any final words?
Yeah, so I think for families, my advice would be to have patience, that with anything in life, there's progress and there are setbacks, and to be there for your loved ones. And along the way, take care of yourself and make sure that the individual is also given the autonomy in their recovery, access the resources and the system that's available to you, and take care of yourself.
Thank you. Spoken like a true clinician. So thank you all for being with us on this panel. And on behalf of both Gateway Foundation, that I have the privilege of dedicating my professional life to, and the Kennedy Forum, that I have the privilege of serving in my volunteer life as a board member, I want to thank everybody for being with us. And I also want to thank my fellow board members on the Kennedy Forum and our executive director, Cheryl Potts, who is a great partner to Tom and myself and everybody at Gateway. With that, I will turn it back over to Rob. Thank you, everyone.
So I hope you're enjoying yourselves. What great lessons we heard from the panelists this evening. Now you're going to meet some of our healthcare heroes, a group of Gateway alum and staff from both of our divisions representing the essence of what it means to be a hero. During this past year, through a pandemic, the entire Gateway team rose to the occasion and as a group emerged as healthcare heroes.
A healthcare hero is compassionate.
A healthcare hero is trusted.
A healthcare hero is patient,
honest,
resilient.
A healthcare hero is selfless.
A healthcare hero is loyal,
relentless.
A healthcare hero is caring,
committed,
larger than life. I had some anxiety, right, in terms of my own recovery. If I were to say that I was 100% secure in my recovery, I would have been lying, right? There was things in my recovery that were taken away because of the shelter in place.
When I first heard about the shelter in place, I felt scared. It was during the beginning of my decision to enter recovery, and I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how I would seek treatment, how I would receive it.
When I very first heard about the COVID pandemic on the news, I thought about my work here in the treatment facility. I thought about the clients, and at that point in time, we had over 250 clients under my care.
In my recovery, I look at it like a holistic approach, right? I pay attention to my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. I'm a single parent, so my daughter lives with me. I work 2 jobs. I go to the gym regularly. I would go to the local coffee shop to read and write. There's just a lot of routine.
The division here is considered a community correction facility. It is a lockdown facility, meaning that they're mandated to be here, but it's not operated by the prison system.
After I moved out of my parents' house, I got in some trouble for forgery, and I started using drugs pretty heavily, pretty regularly, and then I went to prison. Gateway has their institutionalized programming in there, so I went through that while I was there, came out clean and sober, and did what I had to do to stay clean and sober. About 2 years later, I got my certification to be a peer support specialist, and then I started working for Gateway.
In my recovery, as part of an employee at Gateway, right, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. Right? It helps me to be employed at Gateway to see other people in recovery. The Gateway Connect app, we had it in the works already before this happened. So as a vision to get everybody connected, right? Because the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. So Gateway understanding this, there was a decision made to roll it out to everybody. So that's involved with Gateway so they could stay connected.
People in recovery need people in recovery. Recovery isn't something that people can do alone. So having the option to see and meet with the counselors and their groups virtually probably played a role in whether they relapsed or not.
The pandemic has really unearthed a lot of challenges, not only with me in terms of, okay, how am I going to maintain my sobriety in a virtual and safe manner, but then also that level of community support.
We're still there for the clients even if they're not attending groups anymore, to have them stay connected to a community of positive support. You might not use the app every day, but you could use it whenever you're feeling down or you just need to reach out, and there will be people there that'll help pick you up and encourage your recovery.
That's what Gateway is about, client care. We still had to continue on with services, which is what, included cognitive behavioral therapy. We also had to increase the family reunification component of it, making sure that the clients were able to reach out to their families.
There's certain groups of people that have really benefited from the virtual treatment. If you think of an outpatient group as being 3 hours, somebody with small children that has to find a babysitter and commute, that 3-hour group turns into a 6-hour block.
A lot of people in recovery just coming out of a prison sentence, most of the time don't have cars, they don't have jobs. So it's really hard to get that kind of transportation to where they need to go, where these groups are held. With the virtual option, all I've got to do is have to have Wi-Fi and a phone or a tablet.
I literally started day 1 of virtual outpatient program. Our counselor was pretty upfront and said, hey, we're gonna figure this out together. And this is different from what we're used to. It was scary a little bit, but it was also comforting to know that we're all in this together and we're just trying to figure it out as we move forward.
A patient needs to know that you're committed to their care no matter what. A patient needs to know that they can come to you and you will be able to assist their needs at that point in time.
I think it's important to ask for help when you need help and not be afraid or ashamed to ask for help. Gateway was that bridge that I needed and that support to say, hey, we got you. We're gonna give you everything that you need and the support that you need, Brandon, to actively recover and to maintain sobriety.
It felt a little weird to be working with the same people that I was locked up with, but at the same time it's inspirational for them to see me in the position that I'm in. It gives them hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that they're not doing this recovery thing for nothing.
You're looking at a COVID survivor that couldn't give up and had to return back to continue to help the clients no matter what. You're looking at a miracle and you're looking at a successful person.
It feels awesome to break the stigmas and the assumptions about addicts that most people have when I tell them that I now work for the people that help get me clean.
My name is Bobby, and I'm a healthcare hero.
My name is Shane, and I'm a healthcare hero.
My name is Alyssa, and I'm a healthcare hero.
My name is Brandon, and I'm a healthcare hero.
Wow, what a moving story that was. I think you would agree. Those are our true heroes. And we hope you were moved enough to dig into your wallets, because that's the portion of the program we're moving to right now. I know you've been donating throughout the entire evening, but if you haven't done so yet, or if you have a little bit more to give, this is the time. If we were all together, I would be calling out numbers. I'd be going around the room talking to everybody. Instead, I'm going to share words of encouragement and gratitude. Your generosity will help us help those most in need. So we're going to do the virtual paddle raise right now, and we're going to start at $5,000. What does $5,000 get you? It provides clients with 16 days of residential treatment. Can we see some $5,000 donations? Now, we always like to affix the service with the number because we want to let you know the impact of your generosity. So $5,000. Can we get $5,000 donations? We thank you for your generosity. Our next level is $2,500. Now, $2,500 provides clients with 35 days of outpatient treatment. Can I see some more bids go up at $2,500? You can see the thermometer on your screen there, and you can see the kind of progress that we're making. So thank you for those who are donating at $5,000 and $2,500. Again, $2,500 gets you 35 days of outpatient treatment, more than a month. That is very significant, and we thank you for jumping in at that level. Our next level is going to be $1,000. Now, $1,000 provides clients with 2 days of detox. Can we see some bids go up virtually at $1,000? Thank you. We appreciate that. Let's keep them coming. Keep them coming. Watch that thermometer continue to increase because the Gateway Foundation truly is relying on your generosity to help in the next year. Our next level is going to be $500. $500 provides clients with wraparound recovery home supports for employment and housing. Can we see some bids at $500? Very important when these people are trying to get back on their feet. They need the employment, they need the housing, and your $500 donation right now helps them achieve that. And it's so great to see the thermometer continue to expand as we sit here and raise money for a very worthy cause, the Gateway Foundation. Our next level of giving is $250. $250 is going to help us expand telehealth virtual treatments. So you can't meet in person. Telehealth is a thing now because of the pandemic, and $250 is going to expand those virtual treatments that are so important right now because of the inability to meet in person, and we hope that we'll be meeting in person again soon on many different fronts. Now, those are our levels of giving, but if you haven't heard a number yet that really speaks to you. If you want to donate $150, $150, $25, whatever you can give us is going to help us achieve our continued mission here at Gateway Foundation, and we hope you will give and give generously. We understand that not everybody is in a position to do that. If you are, we hope you donate, and if you're not, we thank you for your support anyway. And we want to thank you for participating in our virtual paddle raise. It's a little unusual not to do it in person, but I think that we achieved the goal. As you can see, the thermometer continue to increase. Now, allow me to bring back Dr. Britton to share some final thoughts. Again, my name's Rob Johnson, big supporter of Gateway Foundation. Thank you, and we hope to see you next year in person.
I began our event tonight with reference to the darkness we've walked through, and I'm going to end with reference to the light that will come. Nobody knows what we're yet to face, but I do know how we will face it. We will walk with our heads up, with an eye for excellence, looking for innovation, sharing love and support to each other. We will stand here a year from now with new joys to share. We will continue to illuminate recovery. I call on you tonight to return to your life with a renewed commitment to make a difference. Spread hope to those who suffer. Inspire compassion. Be well and be safe. Thank you.